Hello everybody, my name's Rebecca and I'm going to read you a story called The Ugly Duckling. But first of all, I want to run through some of the things that I'm going to use through the story so that parents, you can go out and find these things or alternatives, anything that you can use as sensory items in the story. So, I've got some eggs. Anything round will do if you haven't got any eggs, but I also cheated a little bit and I made a giant egg. But anything will do. If you can find a larger bowl than your eggs, that'll be great. I've got some little ducklings and I made an ugly duckling out of some pom-poms. But if you've got a soft toy or anything that's slightly different from your duckling, it doesn't really matter so long as they can tell that it's different. I have some soft silky feathers or a pom-pom, different textures. You could even use something fluffy like a fluffy cushion to feel the textures. I've got something cold. I've got something warm. I've got some water. I have a fan, which you can make easily with a piece of paper, just folding it up. And I've got a little mirror. And Ted's going to help me. So let's get on with the story. Mother Duck is very excited. Her eggs are nearly ready to hatch. Soon she will be the proud mother of 6 little ducklings. Her friend says, "One of your eggs is much larger than the others." "All of my little ducklings will be beautiful," said Mother Duck. But secretly, she's a little bit worried. But she doesn't want the other farmyard animals to know that. It's time! 5 little eggs start to crack. And out come 5 fluffy little ducklings. You can feel the fluff. Oh, say all the farmyard animals. Then the 6th egg, which was the very, very big egg, began to crack. And out of the 6th egg came one very strange looking bird. He looks different to the other ducklings. "Oh," cried the farmyard animals, and they look at Mother Duck. But she pretends not to notice that this one looks very different. Mother Duck and her 6 ducklings all go for a swim. 5 little ducklings get into the water and splish splash away. But when the 6th ugly duckling comes to join in, he's too big and he upsets them. "Go away," all the ducklings say. "We don't like you, go away." He decides to run away, but wherever he goes, everything is the same. "What an ugly duckling!" cried the wild ducks. "What a strange strange bird, cry the geese. Go away, they cry. One day, thinks the ugly duckling, I will be beautiful, and then they'll be sorry. But he doesn't believe it really. The ugly duckling is strong and brave, but he is also very lonely, and winter is coming. He makes himself a home by the side of a lake, and one morning he wakes up and watches a group of beautiful swans flying across the sky. How graceful they are, he thinks. How happy they must be. He sighs. It's getting much colder. Snow begins to fall and the lake freezes over. In the distance, the ugly duckling can see a farmhouse. There are bright lights and voices. I wish I lived over there, he thinks to himself. But he knows that they'll only laugh at him. So he goes out onto the frozen lake instead. His big feet make wonderful skates. The ugly duckling skates on the ice for hours. He has fun all by himself. You feel the cold, but he's getting all fluffy. The ice melts. Spring has come. The other birds start to arrive back at the lake, and the water is full of wild ducks and geese chattering and laughing. They are glad to be back together again. The ugly duckling hides. He waits for someone to notice him, but everyone is busy. I don't care, says the ugly duckling. He notices that everyone else around him is flying around. So he stretches his wings and he begins to flap, and suddenly he's up in the sky, away from all the chattering voices. I can fly, he cries. The sky is very blue. Up here it is quiet. He feels the warm sun on his wings. And the wind slips by him. It feels wonderful. He flies past a family of swans. My goodness, they say, what a handsome bird. The ugly duckling turns round in surprise. Me, he says. A most fine and handsome bird, say the swans. One of the most beautiful ones we've ever seen. The ugly duckling is so surprised that he crashes down into the lake. Then he looks into the water to see his reflection, and a snowy white swan is looking back up at him. All the swans crowd round him. He must be a prince. We would like to be his friend. Where do you come from? They ask. Why haven't we seen you before? The beautiful swan smiles. I've been here all the time, he says. The end. Now we can have a go at making a swan. and S4 should have all the little bits and pieces that they probably need in their work pack, which they should have received. So everybody, we're going to make a swan, hopefully. Let's have a little bit of fun making a swan. So for this, I've used a paper plate and I've cut it slightly over halfway through. So it's not half, it's slightly over. Gives it a bigger body. I've got a piece of paper to lay it all down on, and I've cut out a rough shape for a swan's body and head. Nice curly whirly shape. Okay, so what we're going to do is use some glue, and we're going to stick it down first of all. Big Ted's here as well. He's got the Ugly Duckling. He's got some feathers. Oh, you can't see. Let's see if I can show you. There they are. We've even got all the little ducklings swimming in the water. Well, there we go. So we're going to glue this down. A bit towards the top so that we've got room for its body and webbed feet. Oh, mine's a wonky swan, but never mind. Okay, so I've got the body, I've cut out 2 little feet to put at the bottom. I'm going to use some black tissue paper, just little bits rolled up, so that's a nice sensory activity for the children to do. I'm going to use some cotton wool, but I haven't got a lot left. Hopefully you've got more. That's going to be used on the body. It's just trying to find things for the children to put on their swan that makes it a little bit more sensory. Or of course you can use some feathers. It doesn't matter what colour they are. Need to have a little bit of fun with it, don't we? Okay, so I've stuck down my swan's body, all wonky. And now I'm going to hopefully stick down the bottom half of its body. And I keep referring to the swan's neck as its body, but it's not, it's the neck. Okay. So now we've got the swan's bottom half of its body, and we're going to stick it down. Now, what else does a swan have that we haven't got so far? I think it needs some big orange or red or black feet that we can stick on so that it can swim in the water. Okay, there's one. Stick it down. And here's 2. There we go. Can have a little old swim in the water now. Now then, what else do we need? We need to put that funny black stuff at the end of its beak. Not quite sure what it's called, but using some black tissue paper that the children have screwed up, we're going to stick it down at the top of its beak. I think it just needs to outline it really. 2, 3. Now then, it definitely needs an eye to be able to see with. Now, I've got some little sticky eyes here, so I can choose an eye And I think I'd like to give it one of these. This one here. We just need one because we can only see one side. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it looks more like a swan now. There we go. Now then, this is where we can use some cotton wool. You can use as much or as little as you like. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue down the swan's neck. And I'm going to use some cotton wool just to make it more sensory for everybody. My limited amount of cotton wool. Okay. Just getting the idea that the swan is nice and fluffy and soft as well as beautiful. Now then, down on its body you could either use some feathers, or you can do what I'm going to do, and that is get some paint on something nice and flat. Put your hand in it. Ooh. This is great. Some children love to get mucky, some children don't. So it really is up to you what you choose to do. So I'm going to make my swan's wing with my hand using the paint. And it doesn't matter what colour you use. And if you're struggling for paint, there are some recipes for homemade paint, which would, I think it's flour and water and some food colouring. So you could do that if you wanted to. I suppose we could even do some more sensory sticking on the beak to make it nice and orange. Just use little bits, or you could screw it up again like the black. I think I'll just use the scraps of this orange here. Where's my glue gone? Here it is. I'm going to put some glue on the beak, and I'm going to stick some tissue on it. You might have some fluffy little pom-poms or tinsely bits left over from Christmas. You can decorate your swan however you want. Oh, I'm quite pleased with that. Okay, so you could use more sensory items on your picture if you wish, but I'm quite pleased with that. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you get the chance to have a go, and the next time I see you I might be reading another story, and Big Ted might be helping me out with it as well, because it's going to be Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Speak to you soon. Bye.